in people's awarenesses. Namaste, Santosh
Namaste.
ji. Right. So I was just telling you how I appreciate how you're always the first, and how you are, I trust, open to ideas without blindly accepting them. Blind acceptance of anything is not good, no matter who's saying it. Allow it to be in your awareness at some level, observe it, experiment with it, use it, and then if it makes sense, continue. If it doesn't, put it on a side burner or something so that you may reassess at some other point of time, because something may not be understood or clear or useful today. It could become very practical or very useful in the days ahead. Every individual is so unique. So
Mm.
this, today morning I was thinking about this concept of guru. It's a very powerful concept. In India, especially, guru has been given a lot of importance. The role of
Correct.
a guru has been given a lot of importance. Guru is basically a dispeller of darkness. Does that mean that a guru is always perfect? Does that mean that a guru is always right? No. No. And even the best of gurus may not be best for everybody, because God has made everyone special. Everyone is unique. What may work on you may not work on someone else.
Correct.
What doesn't work on anybody else may work like a charm on you. So we have to give this allowance. We have to give this little bit of leeway to different
Mm.
things. Does that mean we judge the guru either way? If it's working, we judge him too high, wrong. If it's not working, we judge him too wrong, also not right. Because we have to keep ourselves open. What seems wrong today may seem very, very right tomorrow. In fact, all my life I've noticed things like this. What has seemed totally detestable, wrong today, after some time has changed, reversed.
Mhm.
Standard है ये जीवन में. If you are aware, if you're not aware, it's another matter. So then how should one go to a guru or anyone who's teaching anything? What is a guru? Dispeller of light, or anyone who shares something, teaches something. In a sense, in our traditions, there are many levels of gurus, or there are many levels of teachers, or there are many levels of instructors or coaches. What do I call myself? I call myself a breath coach. I don't call myself a guru. I'm not a guru. I am a breath coach. I observe my breath, I explore my breath, I experiment with my breath, and then I teach others how to do the same. But importantly, I teach everyone, or at least impress upon everyone, to observe and learn and understand for themselves.
Correct.
That's it. That's my role, nothing else. Beyond this, I'm nothing. Some people may call me something, some people may call me something else. It's their concern, it's not my concern. चाहे जो भी बोले, अच्छा बोले तो अच्छा, खराब बोले तो खराब, अच्छा है, no problem. जिसको जो समझना समझे. It's their choice.
Correct.
It's 11 o'clock, and looks like you are going to be the only one. Ah, okay. Shri Hari Ji. Okay, right. So at least someone else. Excellent. Shri Hari, I've seen this post. I've seen this before, but I don't remember the name of the person using Shri Hari. Dr. Seema, welcome. Namaste, Dr. Seema and Shri Hari ji, or whoever the person behind this is. Right. So very briefly, let's do our 3 ohms, and then we'll just review some of the things that we discussed a little while ago. Oh, Lalita ji, namaste. Lalita ji is going to be incognito. That means she'll keep her video off. She messaged me, and that's okay. We understand that. Let's do our 3 ohms first. We'll come back to this, Santosh ji.
Um,
Slow deep breath. Take a full deep breath. Keep your stomach super relaxed. Om. the vibrations inside. And when you do this Om chanting with the lotus open, you will feel very good vibrations. And naturally, as you continue over time, it will only grow. So we were discussing briefly, Dr. Seemaji and Lalitaji with Santoshji, we were discussing a little about the concept of a guru. So guru is known to be a dispeller of darkness. So what kind of darkness are we talking about? We are talking about intellectual darkness. We are obviously not talking about somebody who shines, a floodlight or something, in physically or something. Surya Devta is enough for that. Surya Devta is the dispeller of light. So Guru is a dispeller of darkness that is inside our heads. Now, why does this darkness come? If there is a sun inside us, यदि अपने में सूर्य देवता है, आत्मा, higher self, or whatever other name you want to call it by, is basically Surya Devta. I'll tell you why. In a sense, it's Surya Devta, or it's the presence of the source of whatever is there in the sun and everywhere else. The moment this Atma leaves, your body starts becoming cold. The moment this Atma leaves the body starts becoming cold. So am I right in assuming that the Atma is the source of light or heat in the body?
Or is it that when the physical body dies, the Atma moves?
You can see what cannot be proved can always be seen or interpreted or presented in many ways. So when you say physical body dies, what happens in the physical body? If you say the physical body dies, what changes in the physical body? Basically, it's the leaving of the Atma. That's all that happens.
Right.
So to say that the physical body dies and then the Atma leaves, in a sense, is wrong, because it's only when the Atma leaves that the physical body dies. So if I were to ask you, ki physical body dies, fine, let's say physical body dies. So what happens when the physical body dies? Does something trigger and then cause the Atma to leave? That is for you to understand. But the moment this happens, the moment the Atma leaves the body starts becoming cold. Yes or no? There's a reason why I'm coming here. I'm coming to this point. So the higher your Atma or the awareness of the Atma or whatever the Atma brings into this awareness, into this being, is the source of light. It is in the presence of this that the functions of the body start happening. The moment this leaves, you cannot beat your heart even for one more time after that. Doctors may come and put electrical shocks and make it beat a few times, but it usually doesn't work. Sometimes it even that does. So we can't say it never works. But basically we can say, because exceptions prove the rule. कई बार होता है कितने कितने shocks लगा लो कुछ भी नहीं होता. So this is what changes. It is the presence of this thing which allows the functions of the body. So the light that this is bringing is covered or eclipsed by a thing called the ego, the lower self. What is the reality of the ego? Does it really have any reality?
It doesn't exist.
Yeah, the ego does not have an independent reality. So just as when we see the dharan, what is it called? The eclipses, how do you say it in Hindi? Surya, Surya Grahan, Chandra Grahan, right? Grahan. Grahan means to absorb something.
Cover something.
In a sense, cover something. You also accept something. Anyway, the basic point is, when there is darkness in your body or in your being, it's because your higher self is eclipsed by the actions of your lower self. And this comprises mind, emotions, ego. It's a combination. So the presence of this creates the darkness. So the moment we actually think about a guru, his first real role becomes to dilute, dissolve your ego. That is how he will dispel darkness. There is really no other way. It is only through the dispelling of this ego
But
that the
ego does not
darkness,
exist. But
yet it
ego,
has to be, yet it has to be done away with. It doesn't exist, yet it affects. How does it affect? In some strange way, like a grahan. There is really no such thing as a grahan, yet the grahan happens. Why is it always that इतने बड़े sky में the movement or the momentum is linear, or at least in that line कि ग्रहण हो रहा है? Because such a big sky, I mean, it could have happened in any way. The sun could have been a little here, the moon could have been a little here, the earth could have been a little here. There would be no grain ever. So वो एक अलग अलग बात है. वो astronomers ज़्यादा समझेंगे. That is not my field. I will not pretend to expound on that or explain on that. That is not my area of understanding. I understand a little about the mind. I understand a little about what I think is the Atma, etc. A little, not too much. And the little that I do, I'm talking about that. So this Atma and that which is eclipsing the Atma, the Ahankar, basically. The Ahankar, mind, emotion, because they always come as a trio. So the biggest role of the Guru becomes to finish your Ahankar, emotion, mind role. Now, the mind is both a very, very negative thing and also a very positive thing. It's like a sword. Sword को कोई अच्छा भी बोल सकता है, sword को कोई खराब भी बोल सकता है. If sword is used to protect you, it's a wonderful thing. If the same sword is used to behead you, it's a terrible thing. So mind is like that. The problem with the mind, or mind becomes a problem when under the influence of the ego and emotions, it starts working against you, because it's a very powerful thing. Mind is among the most powerful things that exist in the universe. Believe me, it's among the most powerful things that exist in the universe, and most of us have zero understanding of the power of our mind. We take our minds for granted, just as we take our breath for granted. We don't explore the power of breath. We don't explore the pathways of the breath and how those pathways impact us. We don't explore that. We are too busy with the games that our minds are playing. And the games of the mind are being played by the complex of ego and emotions. Ego loves drama. Emotions provide that drama. And the mind can always give it as many colors or as many dimensions as required. So this is the thing. So if you ever come across a guru, please remember one thing. He is not going to massage your ego. He is not going to do anything that will make your ego bloat. In fact, in small ways, big ways, in many different, gurus use many devices depending on each individual, depending on each situation, to slowly make the people aware of how they are becoming victims of their own ego, mind, emotion complex. So see, until you do the inner work, even a guru will not be able to help dispel the darkness. It is when the actions of the guru, the outer guru, are supported by the actions of the inner guru. When this combination is available, the outer guru and the inner guru, then transformation begins. So the outer guru is only a prop. There are 1,000 outer gurus. There are million outer gurus. आप जहां चाहें उसको खोज सकते हो. Inner guru तो एक ही. So whatever is going on the outside, whatever drama is going on, acha drama, ganda drama, falana, adhikana, etc., etc., whatever drama goes on, let it go on. Let's see what your inner guru says. Is your inner guru saying कि नहीं ये गलत रास्ता है? Is your inner guru saying कि नहीं wait and watch? Inner guru will rarely say कि यही सही रास्ता है, because यही सही रास्ता कभी नहीं होता. There is no one right path, never. The right path is a work in progress that has to be constantly created. The right path, जैसे आप गाड़ी चला रहे हो, आप गाड़ी चला रहे हो, आपकी गाड़ी एक डायरेक्शन में है, आप उसी डायरेक्शन में जाओगे, you think you'll reach your destination. Suddenly the road turns to the right and your गाड़ी is going straight. It's bye bye down the khud or down into a river or into a cliff face or whatever, you know. So that's not enough. The outer guru, inner guru, इसका समन्वय होगा, बहुत अच्छा रिजल्ट मिलेगा. आउटर गुरु में ध्यान दीजिए, assess over time कि क्या बोल रहा है, क्या ले जा रहा है, in what way is he, how are his teachings giving me something, how are his teachings taking away something from me, what is he taking away from me. Assess करते रहिए, assess करते रहिए. Assess again over time, is it bringing me to a better place or to a worse place. Keep assessing, you will know whether you are on the right path. Course correction if required, do the course correction. Remember, no one is perfect. Na aap perfect ho, na aapka guru perfect hai. But the only chances are, at least if the guru has a certain amount of sincerity, and chances are there will be a certain amount of sincerity if he is a realized guru. How do you know he's a realized guru? And what is meant by being, meant by being realized? What is meant by that? It just means that basically he has come to a point where his own lower self, ego, mind, emotion complex has become somewhat more under control than in most cases. So to that extent, at least he's a little better positioned to guide others.
He's no more the victim now.
Yes, very good. He is no more playing the victim anymore. He has begun to understand that his life is his own making. He has begun to understand that his own actions will lead him to wherever he has to go. No one else is around to really influence him, hurt him, pain him, or even bring him joy. No one else. सब अपना अपना काम कर रहे हैं. उसी इंटरेक्शन में सारा का सारा ड्रामा चल रहा है. That's all there is to it. So by all means, follow someone, listen to someone, but always keep sounding against your inner guru. Is it sounding right? Sometimes it may not sound right. Put it away. If somebody has given you 99 correct directions and one direction seems to be wrong, we don't say that he's wrong. No, that is not how it works. It means ki theek hai, those 9 seemed right, this one seems wrong. Let us reassess. Let us relook at things and then see how things go again. Again, something is wrong. Again, something is wrong. If it's happening again and again, there is a possibility that he who had seemed to be a little more realized has become a victim to his own mind. Possible. When who is going to slip? Remember what I told you? There are only 2 directions. एक नीचे की तरफ, एक ऊपर की तरफ. That's it. That's it. Nothing else. So every decision, every act of yours will either pull you slightly down or it will pull you slightly up. Or maybe just keep you wherever you are. That is a third possibility. So if you allow something to pull you down, you make your, future path more difficult. If you allow something to just nudge you a little higher, it just means that the future path will become a little easier. And suddenly that particular step will be climbed. है तो इतना सही distance, but it takes a long time to cover it. Even one lifetime is not enough. Because human being is such a complex thing, no? So many emotions, so many desires, so many thoughts, so many karmic connections, and then each one of those triggers more and more and more and more. So the more and more you are triggerable, the more and more you see that you are being triggered, be careful. Become aware that I'm being triggered. That means something is not working right in my system. But where is the need to get triggered? The world is not meant to please you. And you are also not meant to please the world. At the end of it, the world is not meant to please you, and you are also not meant to please the world. You are here to understand your own reality. That is your game. Why is breath important? Because breath work is such a neutral thing. It's pure energy. Simply by moving the pure energy through your system, you get yourself unstuck. Now, this being unstuck is such a beautiful thing. यदि कोई चीज कहीं पर अटक गया है, तो dislodging himself from that stuckness is almost an impossible is a bad word, but almost an impossible task. But उसी में जरा सा कोई सहारा दे देता है, जरा सा कोई हाथ दे देता है, suddenly you can dislodge yourself. That is the importance of the guru. If you have been stuck somewhere and the guru has given you a bit of a nudge, a bit of a hand, and pulled you out from the stuckness, now it is up to you to take the steps to move on. You can't see the many people make a very big mistake. जब गुरु से जुड़ते हैं, they take the guru's words so literally कि they lose all touch with their inner guru. नहीं boss, नहीं, no, please, never.
But they say just surrender to Guru without asking any question.
See, surrendering to Guru without asking any question is a totally different thing. Now, what is going to happen is your Guru has said something, you've surrendered to him, a certain process has started in your mind. Now, without judging this process, let it be sounded against your inner Guru. Let your inner Guru take a look at whatever is going on. Let him bring you clarity. That's all there is to it. There is no dichotomy. So surrendering to someone does not mean that you totally lose total control or total responsibility over your own being. No, please, no. This is a total misunderstanding or corruption of the idea. This may work for someone whose consciousness is at a very, very low level. किसी की चेतना एकदम नीचे की तरफ पड़ी हुई है, उसको माने कोई चीज का समझ ही नहीं है. In that case, fine. 2 साल, 5 साल, 10 साल उसने ये कर लिया. थोड़ी सी चेतना इंप्रूव होने लगी, थोड़ी सी एनर्जी ठीक होने लगी. Let his life direct him.
Surrendering is to the inner, surrendering is to the inner guru. It's not in the form outside.
There we go.
One inner guru of the guru, the form, and the inner guru of you is one.
Is one.
The form is different. So you're not surrendering to the form. You're surrendering to the inner guru, inner divine.
And that inner guru is the same in your case and in the case of your outer guru as well. So
but
then, problem
outer
solved.
side you can have a problem. Outer guru may have a personality problem, or you may not understand what he's saying, but the inner guru will always understand. So you're actually surrendering to the inner guru, not outside.
Perfect. Seema ji.
Yeah.
So now comes the point कि यदि बाहर वाला गुरु कुछ कर रहा है, etc., etc., लोग उसके लिए लड़ने, झगड़ने, मरने, मारने के लिए तैयार हो जाते हैं. What kind of wisdom is this? आपको मारना तो अपने अंदर का अहंकार को मार लो ना. बट आप तो उस गुरु के लिए झगड़ा करके अंदर के अहंकार को ज्यादा बढ़ा रहे हो. माय गुरु इज बेटर देन योर गुरु. माय गुरु इज राइट, योर गुरु इज रॉन्ग. अरे सॉरी सर, ऑल गुरुज आर राइट और ऑल गुरुज आर रॉन्ग. रास्ते तो बहुत है वो वहां जाने के लिए. जो गंदा से टू यू व्हाट माइट अपीयर टू बी द मोस्ट यूजलेस गुरु, in some way he could be helping somebody in some way, we don't know, even through his apparently wrong actions. किसी के लिए उसी बुद्धि या उसी ज्ञान का या उसी एक्सपीरियंस का आना इज द मोस्ट इंपॉर्टेंट थिंग. सो हु द हेल आर यू टू जज? आप अपने के साथ करते रहो अपना काम, अपना इनर वर्क. We can't judge anyone. How much do we know about anybody else? We take incidents in a person's life, in a person's behavior, in a person's actions, etc., and then we judge like that. We judge a person. ये तो सही नहीं है, ये तो गलत है, ये फलाना है, ये ठिकाना है. Either good or bad, both ways. तो why is that a problem? Because यदि आपने किसी को बहुत जल्दी अच्छा मान लिया, तो यदि लोगों को तो कॉनमैन भी तो बहुत होते हैं ना. देयर आर लॉट ऑफ पीपल हु नो हाउ टू झोंको धूल इन योर आईज. There are lot of very smart people who know exactly how to blind you and take advantage of you. So why do you want to be a victim to somebody like that and then learn your lesson after 10 years, 15 years, 20 years? So a lot of people get so superbly or so strongly attracted to some gurus who do a lot of who show for example miracles, etc., etc., etc. They flock to him. There may be good ones, I can't say that they are all wrong. They have a role to play, but is it the path for everyone? Maybe not. Is the guarantee that he will only be good for you always? Maybe if you are in touch with your inner guru. So main point is, जो भी करते हैं बाहर में, keep sounding it against your inner guru. Keep in touch with your inner guru. Let your inner guru's light burn brighter inside you. How do you allow the light of your inner guru to burn brighter? Give it more space. How do you give it more space? How do you give that inner guru more space? So remember that inner guru does not speak like us. He does not write like us.
But still, it is a chattering box.
No, I'll explain. So the inner guru is basically a very deep awareness. There was a time when the voice of the inner guru came through a thing called the conscience. कॉन्शियंस नाम की एक चीज होती थी, शायद आपके अंदर भी थी, शायद मेरे अंदर भी थी, सबके अंदर थी, कुछ सम ऑफ अस के अंदर अभी भी शायद थोड़ी बहुत होगी. ये जो कॉन्शियंस की जो वॉइस है, इट्स अ वेरी सटल वॉइस. It's so subtle that it's usually unhearable. And when it is heard, we totally ignore it. Conveniently ignore it. Because it has no power over us. If we ignore it, ऐसा तो नहीं है कि he will come to us and say or do something that will bring us pain or punishment or something. कुछ नहीं है. वो तो बेचारा बोल देगा, छोड़ देगा. एक बार, दो बार, and उसके बाद में शायद उतना भी नहीं बोलेगा. So this awareness, this deep awareness becomes more easily accessible when we are in a meditative state. What happens in the meditative state? For some time at least, for many people, the procession of thoughts slows down. When the procession of thoughts slows down, a deep awareness, जिसे अपन कई बार चिद आकाश बोलते हैं. Sometimes when you are deep in meditation, you feel as if your mind is like the whole sky, the whole universe. Am I right? आपका तो experience हुआ होगा ना, if you meditate. हाँ सीमा जी?
हाँ जी.
That is the connection you have to keep making. That is why meditation is so important. And what happens in meditation? The first thing you will notice is, as you get meditative, the rhythm, the quality, the movement of your breath starts changing. Most people are not aware because they don't observe, they don't understand. As you become meditative, as your mind becomes a little more calm, relaxed, the flow of breath begins to change. And now each up impacts the other. The mind impacts the breath impacts the mind. So it becomes a virtuous cycle. As it becomes a virtuous cycle, you can go deeper. Sometimes some people go very deep into meditation, and sometimes they love to sit in meditation for long periods of time. Is it necessary? Not really. Is it desirable? Why not? If you have the time, if you have the resources to do that, by all means do it. It's such a wonderful experience. But does it mean that you have to say कि मेरे को तो आज 5 घंटा meditation नहीं हुआ तो my life is useless? ऐसा नहीं. That awareness, that meditativeness, meditation से ज़्यादा important becomes meditative. If you become meditative, that means now that awareness is in some sense traveling with you in all your actions. That is what you do. Anyway, बहुत लंबी कहानी हो गई है. So breath work helps you to move in that direction. Breath work helps you to calm your mind. How does breath work help you to calm your mind? As you watch your breath, your mind is not able to play the games that it otherwise normally did or does. Excuse me. So that's it. This is where breath work comes in. Now, 72,000 nadis inside us, 114 chakras, energy centers, if you want to think of them this way. Energy and consciousness centers, because there is a certain level of consciousness in these chakras. So why do we say certain level of consciousness? Because there is a certain energy connected with a certain awareness, a certain thought process, feeling process, etc., connected through the to these chakras. So if there is too much negative energy stuck in any of these chakras, until such, see, क्या बोलते हैं ना energy के बारे में? Energy is not destroyed, but it needs to play itself out. Until such time as the energy exhausts itself, it's going to want to try and express itself in some way. It's going to have an effect somehow. So these emotions are nothing but stored energy. I think you've read this in that article that I shared. Seemaji, you asked for that article, the
mind.
Unsabotaged mind.
Yes.
Yeah, the two. I think I've spoken about these points. How emotions are actually stored memory, karmic memory. Usually, whatever we remember, all that we remember has some emotion attached to it. How many actions, how many things do you remember where there are no emotions attached? Tell me. शायद आपको ये भी याद नहीं होगा कि कल आपने लंच में क्या लिया था. शायद, unless you are very emotionally attached to your food. वैसे भी होते हैं. So emotion is an energy, and the mind, and because the mind, what is mind? Mind is a storage of all of this. Any kind of emotion expresses itself through the mind, because it impacts the mind immediately, and the ego is already waiting there in the wings to grab it and to create drama. So the moment someone or something triggers you, your emotion of this triggered means your emotion has been ragdoed and it started bubbling or boiling, and then it starts affecting your mind, and your ego is ready to pounce on that to make capital. हाँ वो तो ऐसा ही है, or these characters are like this, are hateful characters, God do this to them, falana falana falana. Then you get embroiled in something. Each time you get embroiled in something like this, it pulls you down, it pulls your energy down. time, life is a combination of two things, time and energy. And if this time, I think I mentioned this in the Raise Your Vibrations class, Santoshi. So when you waste this time and life on unnecessary pursuits, you wasted your life. Awareness आ गई, intelligence grow कर गई, you will become sensible about how you use your time and energy. That's it. That's the game. Breath work helps to clear all of this emotional debris that is lying in the various chakras. It has to be dug out so that it doesn't start sprouting later. If you don't dig it out, at some point of time, it is going to sprout. And if it is going to sprout at a time when you have no awareness, then you have no idea how you will respond to it. So it is better that it sprouts under your watch. So when this sprouts and you bring your awareness to it and you see that this is what I'm going through, this is what I'm responding to, this is what I'm reacting to, but you don't get more involved in that. You don't start getting more part of that, becoming more part of that drama. You become more in control and then you can direct your life. Anyway, this is the Tridosha balancing. We have gone a little off Tridosha balancing. So in the
through breath, we'll be purifying both the nadis as well as chakra, right? Or it is just only the chakra?
No. Naturally both. Because you will not see whatever energy is there in your system has to flow through the nadis. The chakras are like mini centers of energy or mini generators of energy. They generate many different kinds of energy. For example, this let's say this desire for love making, it creates babies. It's very powerful energy. है ना? बच्चे पैदा होते हैं उससे. But you can also use this energy only to satisfy your lust for 2 minutes. 2 minutes. See, what is this energy? This is nature has been very smart. If nature did not combine the pleasure with this, कोई बच्चा पैदा ही नहीं करता. Who would want to have a child? Tell me. Who would want to have a child and take responsibility for almost the rest of his life? For what? To what end? तो नेचर ने बहुत स्मार्टनेस कर दी, इतना स्ट्रॉन्ग डिजायर कर दिया कि when you try to fulfill that desire, consequences of बच्चा. We human beings try to outsmart nature in some ways. So we started bringing different kinds of birth control measures and so on. They create their own complications. They create their own issues. So ये balance checks and balances ये सब drama वगैरह चलता रहता है. But the energy itself is a very powerful energy. So if you allow this energy to lose you, or if you allow yourself to lose this energy, you are the one that's losing. But if this energy is available to you, and if you're able to move it, capture it and move it upwards, then you have no idea where it can take you. Whether it takes 1 year or 10 years or much longer than that, I don't know. But what it can do, we have no idea. So you will find that some of the world's most outstanding people have been some kind of brahmacharis, both in the spiritual field, also in the scientific field. You don't hear about them so much, but this guy like Tesla, have you heard of this guy Tesla? Nikolai Tesla,
Right.
a very great inventor, a very great scientist, a bachelor. He was never with a woman. He never wasted his energy in sex or whatever. So if you are able to conserve this energy, channel this energy upwards, you can achieve a lot in your life. Anyway, back to our main goal, which is the Tridosha balancing. So what we have done with whatever breath work we've been doing so far is we've created channels for the heat energy that we are drawing in from the Manipura, the subtle heat energy that we are drawing in from the Manipura to circulate throughout the body. Why do we want it to circulate throughout the body? Because Kapha Dosha is all over the body. Kapha Dosha, after all, is not created in only one organ or one part of the body. It is created throughout the body. So as we move this energy of the sun, essentially from the Manipura, as we channel it slowly over time, it won't happen overnight. Don't even expect results overnight. Slowly, dhire dhire, it will start creating a better balance so that the amount of phlegm or the amount of kapha that your body has been creating or was creating starts coming down. Starts coming down. If Ayurveda takes long time to act and give results, you must understand that this is using a still more subtler substance. आयुर्वेद में तो फिर भी थोड़ा सा एक ग्रोसनेस आई ना, यू आर प्लांट एक्सट्रैक्ट वगैरह वगैरह को आप ले रहे हो तो थोड़ा सा एक उसमें और तत्व माने एक हेवीनेस आई ना, बट योर एनर्जी इज still more subtle, still very subtle. So you are using this energy, you're moving it through your system, and you're spreading it out throughout your system so that the kapha dosh becomes controlled over time. So whatever kapha dosh is there, first naturally it has to be thrown out. So one of the great ways to throw it out is the Shvasko Shuddhi Kriya, which Santosh ji has experienced. But Seema ji, I don't know whether you've seen the videos, and Lalita ji, I don't know whether she's seen the videos. But if you have, you'll understand there are techniques to actually cleanse your lungs in particular and your nadis very powerfully.
Seems to be that is the only exercise the lungs gets.
In some ways, that is probably the easiest exercise for your lungs.
Otherwise, there's no exercise for lungs as such.
No, but when you, for example, when you go running or when you do a little bit of walking, there is a little bit of gentle exercise.
Right.
But here, there is a little more vigorousness in that exercise. So just someone who has good health can naturally do a little more vigorous exercise, no problem. But someone whose health is challenged or someone who has issues or whatever needs to progress or proceed slowly. Start slow, build up, build up, build up, build up, build up, and change will come. So anyway, back to our Tridosha balancing. Let's do our, I hope you've done your exercises today morning.
Yes.
Yeah. So continue with that same breath work. Tongue stays at the roof of the mouth. In fact, you should continue doing it even when I do my talking sometimes. My talk sometimes becomes very long. I didn't know, I didn't plan on spending so much time on these things today, but anyway, jo hai so hai. So keep your stomach very relaxed. Let your breath move deep into you. Remember that complete yogic breath. Channel one part of your breath up the spine. And keep drawing in energy through the Manipura. Gentle draw. And keep channeling one part of it into the lower parts, which is the Swadhisthana and the Muladhara, and one part up towards the lungs, heart, Vishuddhi. Om. Observe the sensations that happen when you do this. So if you do that lotus opening, which we had started doing in our last session, at all the three levels, which is the Muladhara, Swadhisthana, and the Manipura, you will actually feel certain sensations in your body. And I'll be very grateful if you share these sensations, and it gives me clarity to go on. Feel that subtle breath coming from the Manipura. Hopefully, you will feel a little temperature somewhere. It's a good thing. That build-up of temperature. Santoshji has been speaking about it. And Dr. Seema also spoke about it. You can feel any change in the quality of breath, in subtlety, in its ease of movement. अच्छे से हो रहा है सबका लोटस ओपनिंग, मूलाधार, स्वादिष्ठान, मणिपुरा. Answer please.
Yes.
Very good. Now move it upwards. This Muladhara, Swadhisthana, Manipura, bring it also to the Anahata and then take it up to the Vishuddhi as well. Same lotus opening, move it upwards. Continue to draw energy through the Manipura. Continue to channel it both downwards and upwards. Like radiating, like the sun radiating. The sun does not radiate its energy or heat in one direction only. It does it everywhere. So let your Manipura radiate that energy throughout the body. You may visualize being connected to the universal mother. You may visualize yourself being connected to Surya Bhagwan. And if you like, you can actually even visualize yourself as having a sun somewhere near the Manipura, radiating its energy directly into you. So the sun connected to the real sun or the main sun or the big sun or the sun that is so evident in our lives. Oh, by the way, one thing I've neglected to tell all of you, continue doing what you're doing. I'll just speak a little about this. There are certain foods that seem to create more kapha. Similarly, there are certain foods that create vata, pitta. But since we are more concerned about the kapha issues here, I will point out a few that have come to my notice fairly often. Dahi, curd or products made of dahi, etc. And even milk for that matter. Even milk seems to have a little kapha creating action. So there's milk and curds and some other milk products. You know, amras. You know, in the summer months when the mango season comes, a lot of us we have what is called amras at home or amras. It's made of mango, a generous amount of milk, sometimes a little bit of water as well, and maybe sugar, etc., depending on how sweet a tooth one has. That can also create a fair amount of caffeine. Perhaps also mangoes, I don't know, but perhaps also mangoes. Dab, coconut. Coconut is a beautiful fruit, and its water it's heavenly. I mean, it's amazing the kind of goodness that it brings into your system. But try not to have coconut early in the morning or on an empty stomach. Have it a little later in the daytime, maybe after breakfast or something. Maybe then it won't have so much of a kapha effect on your body. And let's see what else. And my problem is I love them all. So, you know, I have to have milk. Sometimes I have to have dahi as well. And is that called chach, 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 chach? What do you call that? Buttermilk, buttermilk. Buttermilk actually has very little butter. It has almost no butter, but it's called buttermilk. English is a strange language. Milk or milk that has been ex- of milk from which total butter has been extracted is called buttermilk. Strange. Anyway, so buttermilk. And I love my amras. I love my even like cane, sugar cane juice. Sugar cane juice also creates a lot of kapha, but I love that as well. In fact, there are some other fruit juices that can create a kapha tendency, but I love my fruit juices as well. So I do have them, and sometimes I have to pay the price of creating more kapha in my body, and I accept it. ये थोड़ा थोड़ा चलेगा, as long as it's not too much. So last few days I've been overindulging myself in milk and milk products. Om. Okay. So we don't have too much time. I want to share one very special technique, which was shared by a very interesting Guruji in Shuktal. Shuktal is a pilgrimage place in UP near Muzaffarnagar, where Parikshit ji was first told the story of Mahabharata, etc., by Shukdev Maharaj. So that is where Shuktal is. The name has probably been changed a little over time, but Shuktal is the original name of that place near Muzaffarnagar. So there was this Ram Katha over there which I had gone to, and there were Gurujis from different different Mathadhishas. Now I have his name saved somewhere, but I can't recall it offhand. So anyway, this Guruji in that congregation, he shared one technique which I've used and found it very useful. So it contained two parts, and but I'll share only one part of it with you because that is more to do with our kapha. And if you like, you can sit in Vajrasana. So like all the techniques that I learned from others, I always give it a little flavor of my own, depending on my own practice or my own body uh, constitution and so on. So what I'm sharing now is it's a little variation of what he has taught, but even so, it's still it's pretty much basically what he shared. So continue with that same breath that you've done. You know, keep channeling your breath from the Sehasrar and drawing in energy from the Manipura. Very important. Continue doing this. Keep your lotus open. If you are able to extend the open lotus all the way up, great. Even if you can't, jitna ho raha utna kariye. Keep channeling part of the breath up the spine. So take a full breath, and then you go half with your mouth rounded. You go full out, relax your belly, take that same full breath again. Full breath. And then again, mouth rounded. So when you do the huff, try to push the air up the spine like we did in the Shvasko Shuddhi Kriya. Do this 10, 12 times, you'll start expelling some phlegm. That goes. Remember to round your mouth. Push from the lowest portion. Santosh ji, expelling a little phlegm. थोड़ा निकला?
Very little, sir, but I don't have that much of phlegm.
You don't have too much phlegm. Okay.
Yeah.
Very good. Very good. But तब भी थोड़ा निकला, so it's good.
Yeah.
So don't do too many of these. Up to 30, 35 to begin with. Go maybe up to 40, 45. ज़्यादा एक साथ बढ़ाई कमा. It heats the body a little. Mm. Do it with the lotus open, becomes very powerful. Try it with the lotus open. Mm. Cleanses it beautifully. In 30, 40 breaths, you will expel a fair amount of phlegm. और निकला संतोष जी? वेरी गुड, वेरी गुड, वेरी गुड. जितना निकल जाए अच्छा. Remember to take a full breath. See, so much coming out. I haven't done it for a long time. Suddenly I remembered कि ये भी तो सिखाना आवश्यक है. More the pressure, more you will expel. With your lotus opened, cleanses it beautifully. Wow. Yeah. So this is what we will do for the rest of today and tomorrow morning as well. And tomorrow tomorrow's session will be a last session. So good, so be it. But continue working with this over time and notice the changes that occur. There will be some obvious changes. There'll be some subtle changes. One thing I'm more particularly interested in observing is how it changes the flow of finances in your life. So if you find that there is a change happening in the flow of finances, as if it feels as if it's becoming a little easier or something that was stuck has suddenly started flowing, please do share it because it will help me gain clarity for my other program called the Hanuman Money Breath, which has been in the works for a long time, but I've not been able to share it yet because of partly because of my lack of full conviction on my part. Only my experiences to share, but not enough other people's input. So I've not been able to share it for some time. Though I did offer it some time ago, but I need to get it going. यदि आप लोगों का input आएगा, it will help me. नहीं आएगा, so be it. That is life. I can ask, I can request. Fulfill करना नहीं करना ऊपर वाला जाने. Thank you all. Let's do our 3 ohms and we can stop for today. Om. 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 Thank you and have a beautiful day. Look at Seema ji's beatific smile. आराम से बैठ के सर के पीछे हाथ लगा के स्माइल दे रही है. ठीक है. Right. ठीक है. नमस्ते. Have a beautiful day. संतोष जी धन्यवाद.